fund?
Ultimately, what I'd love to see is, is taking that money and turning it into more money through grants and using that as match and stuff like that. But I think in the meantime, just having a couple nice wins in regards to art is kind of important. So I'm reaching out to a couple different artists and we can do one or two and then just kind of keep growing it and things like that. But that's the update on the meeting, certainly the very first of many conversations that will need to be had in regards to public art. But the community seems excited about it, so.
So a couple comments. Irene Chatches was really involved with the big group that did the murals 20 years ago, that they started that, and they had a whole process on maquettes and voting and all of that. It was a huge group when they started the Renaissance, and so she's part of PEO and probably getting how her process was with that. That would be really beneficial. We need to always learn from what was done before, what worked, what didn't work. And it was, a lot of the money was spent on wall prep because the walls were pretty difficult at times, and just getting them so they could be smooth enough and the cost. But she's an excellent resource for all of us. Let me think what else I had to say. The video projection, Ann Kellogg talked about that in our Main Street meeting this afternoon, that they're going to actually do something like that downtown. So she's already on this.
Look up projection mapping. It's from, because she was talking about a video mural.
Okay.
But look up specifically projection mapping and check out some of those YouTube videos.
Okay.
It is unbelievable what they can do, and what I would love to do is I'd love to project something up onto the county courthouse downtown for Fire and Ice. And I've already reached out to a couple of these companies.
So for an event, in other words, is the projection mapping just an event where she's
because it's more of an installation, where it's like, hey, this is here for a day. Here, there's an event surrounded by this art exhibit.
That'd be really awesome. And just to weigh in on my opinion is we really definitely did a lot with diversity before it was sexy, which is great, of honoring the diversity of the community. I think we've grown, we've matured, and we do lots of different things, especially with the outdoor and being a mountain town. I'd like to see that we have who we are now and who we're becoming be our next phase, because we've covered our diversity pretty well. I mean, we can always do better, but when we met with the folks from Basin and Range Exchange from Gerlach and Henderson, their thought and their comment was, without visiting with us, with people, they would not have known what we have to offer. That's what we have to advertise, so anybody coming in. So what we're doing now currently just seems like a natural, that's marketing.
And that's a conversation the town needs to have, just in general, for the benefit of the entire community. There needs to be a conversation about where are we going, and so if art's the catalyst for that, that's what you're supposed to use public art for, is to start conversation and create that kind of conversation. So.
Well, and it could be riding a bike, or that type of an interactive is who we are now. Of something small is, can you do something that people could look like they're riding a bike?
Exactly. There is some like that
like
too.
Shields does and that stuff.
Yeah.
Shield.
Yep.
So those would be small, low-cost ways to show who we are and who we're becoming in those interactives.
Yep.
Because where we're becoming and who we are now is very active.
Right. Yep.
I love the alleyway ideas,
Mm-hmm.
not just behind the convention center, but in Carson City, behind some of the buildings, they had tried to just clean up that alley. It was just it actually was a really nice place to go walk around and hang out.
Yeah.
I like what they did with that.
Yeah, and that's happening in Midtown, but I was just in Elko, and that's what they've done, a lot of they had 50, and I was expecting something totally different with their 50 new murals. They were basically panels side by side, a lot of them, but they did do alleys also. And each community has their own flavor.
Exactly. And your art should show the flavor of your community. It shouldn't be cookie cutter.
Cool.
Right on. So I'm open to all ideas and suggestions. It really is the excitement around this, is the conversation with the community, and to figure out what they want to see.
You probably wouldn't want it as a permanent part of the artwork, but certainly some kind of a hashtag campaign in terms of the selfies and the
Yep.
art would be good.
Yep.
Well, and it'll play in with the Heritage Center awarded the grant for the cell phone tour of all the murals in the Renaissance Village. And so that's going to be labeled, so that that's interactive also.
Cool.
And the more interactive we can get, whatever we need.
Oh, totally, totally.
Thank you, Carol. Okay, item 8, discussion only, executive director's report.
All right. Well, you know, I kind of go through the same stuff that we kind of always touch on, starting with the social media. Nothing's going down, it's still growing at the same percent, you know, but definitely, certainly not the spike that we saw in June and July. It's, you know, travel season's over until after the holidays. But we're, you know, above 2,500 followers on Facebook. It goes Ely is the #1 group, then Vegas, Reno, Elko, Carson, and then Los Angeles, Henderson, Phoenix, Spring Creek, and Tucson. For Instagram, same thing, we keep going up about 100 followers a month. We're up to almost 1,400, 89% of them are from outside of Ely, 28% of the followers are from Vegas. So
Oh, excuse me.
No, I'm sorry, I should have grabbed it for you.
Oh,
What's
no,
that?
no, sorry.
And this was not in your packet, this is just my
Okay.
notes on
Right.
things. Twitter's up to 128 followers, and, you know, YouTube is still going strong, so nothing really to report on that one. You know, it's been requested that we do kind of a workshop on social media, so when I throw out things like click-through rate and impressions and stuff like that, you know, for the board members that are trying to figure out what that means, but I think we need to have a full house when we do something like that, and,
I know.
you know, I'll be preaching to the choir, so. So on our targeted digital advertising, and this is with Reach Local, we're kind of finishing up our summer's worth of advertising with them, and that was everything from air races to horse races to YouTube ads to digital vid, to all kinds of stuff, geofencing. Essentially, you know, it's equated in about 4 million impressions total over the target market. And so what I'm planning on doing for the winter time is kind of whittling this down into, instead of having a bunch of different campaigns out, whittling it down into something a little bit more focused. We'll have some new videos that we'll put out for the wintertime activities, and pretty much it'll still be the YouTube video, because we're still getting 50% click-through rate on our YouTube video still after a year of doing it, you know. So we'll have a new YouTube video, and we'll probably be doing some like keyword retargeting for people who are looking specifically for winter vacations, winter family vacations, and kind of getting away from, did they walk into a bike shop this winter? Because that's not our market for the winter time, you know. It's going to be more like who's looking for snowboard vacations or best cross-country skiing in Nevada,
Or
or
bought an SUV.
exactly, yes.
Or a snowmobile.
So that's with our targeted digital, and again for the winter, we're probably going to condense that down to about 2 manageable campaigns, and then we'll start ramping it up in the summertime for the events again, like we did for Fears, Tears, and Beers and the horse races. For the website, it actually went down last month. There was only 6.5 thousand sessions on the website, but the bounce rate is still hovering at about 58%, so they're still going in to about almost 2 pages into the website. And so some of the upgrades that we've done to the website in the last month, the calendar really is filling up. And so one of the goals was having the community calendar that had everything in there. And so my only request to the community is send me your events. Nothing is too small. The only thing I'm not gonna be putting up there is like county commission meetings, AA, stuff like that. If it's community event related or tourism related, it's gonna go up on the calendar, and that includes chamber events, things like that across the entire county. So just encourage people who are doing things to send stuff in, because we are looking, and I've got Errol out there scouring the internet, but kid misses something sometimes, you know, so it's just always good to follow up. So calendar's doing good. We completed the OHV page, so in the outdoor recreation section under ATVs and OHV, we now have that page with the videos, the maps, the pictures from the shoot that we went out with Wild Nevada, all that stuff, and links to everything like that. Sent it out to High Desert Trailblazers, they're cool with it, and so we'll start tackling disc golf next or something like that, whatever we decide.
Excellent.
In featured events, we added Take It to the Lake as a featured event, and I'm working with Nancy on fine tuning the information in there, but you'll see Fire and Ice go up as a featured event. the Ely Film Fest go up as a featured event, and then Silver State Classics go up as featured events. So that's kind of what's on goal for the upgrades to the calendar. For press last month, we had Bike Rumor came out over Labor Day. We did a great article about the mountain biking out here. It turned out awesome, and it got a lot of great play. And then a BuzzFeed, they came out here. This was a Travel Nevada hookup, and they did something on Garnet Hill. And so that was some of the press that we just recently got. I am having a phone call with Katie from East West PR tomorrow, and so we're going to talk about getting these stories out a little bit more out of the area. So print pieces, we did just submit the Nevada Magazine Annual Visitors Guide ad, and that is this right here. And so what we did this year, this is always a partnership that we do with the Great Basin National Heritage Area, and so, but they're kind enough to split the cost with us, but to let the focus be on Ely and White Pine County as a whole. So what we did is 4 seasons of history, 4 seasons of arts and culture, 4 seasons of outdoor recreation, 4 seasons of events, and then it goes through and kind of touches on the signature highlight events. And so this will be in the visitor's guide for Nevada Magazine that goes out for the annual one. And then we're working on our winter poster, which is going to be another mailer that goes out to all the locals and stuff like that. But the posters, not that I'm sick of looking at the top 10 poster, but we've been looking at that top 10 poster for a while. This is going to turn into a 13 by 18, and we hope to see these up in all the businesses' windows and everything like that. So that has all the dates from excursion trains and reindeer flyers all the way through fire and ice and photography workshops and things like that. So, so you'll start seeing those posters around.
So this is gonna be a flyer first?
So this, I just printed this out in an 8.5 by 11. This will be a full page ad in Nevada Magazine for their winter edition, but we're gonna blow this up into 13 by 19 and put up as posters.
Okay, so which one is the card or the mailer?
This one will also be turned into a mailer too. So you'll see these mailed out probably in about, well, they're gonna have to be mailed out here pretty soon, so.
Oh, nice.
Okay, let's see, what else we got? We're halfway through the facilities guide, and so when Nevada Press Association was out here, we had the professional photographer that was doing Take It to the Lake for us, that also did facilities photography. So we'll have some nice new pictures of the convention center with the event, with an event in it, and then we're going around and getting pictures of all the other facilities in town that can be rented out. We should have our mountain bike trails maps brochure done, and it looks freaking awesome. Like this might be my favorite piece that Jay's done. In regards to grants, we haven't heard back from Travel Nevada on what they've awarded for the 4 that we submitted, but we did finish the audio for the Mural and Renaissance Village audio tour. That was a Great Basin Heritage Area grant. So that's complete, and that will also be put up on the website to go ahead and ingest that. We started shooting video about 2 weeks ago to promote the train bike shuttle experience, and so thank you, Mark, for hooking us up on that one. And that worked out really, really well. I think we're going to get 3 great videos for that one. And then I also, in kind of the 11th hour, submitted a grant to IMBA, which is the International Mountain Bike Association, at the request of BLM, John Miller, because they're doing a lot of work on Garnet Hill to increase the parking lot, to add a campground. Facilities up there, and he had asked if we would start looking at expanding a mountain bike trail system out of that. So this IMBA grant is for planning, and so if we receive this, it's a national grant, they'll come out and they'll design the entire trail system, and then be like, this is going to be sweet, make it happen.
That's so cool.
In regards to upcoming events, we're halfway through Haunted Ghost Train. Me and I had a great time. It was awesome. I've got so many ideas for next year of things that I want to do. Like actually dress up and be bloody and be part of it. That looked like a lot of fun. She actually volunteered the next day at the school at Lake City to be
Oh, good.
student.
Oh,
She had
yes,
so much
yes.
fun. So that'll go through the 25th and 26th. On the 25th, we got the community Halloween party and trick or treat in the street. On November 23rd, we're bringing Mike Nash of Southern Draw Band back. So Southern Draw Band was somebody I'd worked with in Carson City through the Brewery Arts Center. They're out of Nashville. But they came out last fall, put on a concert. Mike was so impressed with the community. He's like, I'm coming back out, I'm doing a solo gig. It's more of a singer-songwriter, potluck backyard kind of thing, and I think your community really would like vibe with that. So we're bringing him back November 23rd, and we're just looking for a suitable kind of intimate setting for that experience. December 2nd through 5th will be Festival of Trees. The tree auction will be December 6th, and then December 7th is the Holiday Craft Fair. And so the last thing is just that the Global Tourism Summit in Las Vegas is November 12th through 14th, and everybody who had said that they were going has been registered and it's got hotel rooms and everything like that. So, any questions?
Sounds great. Wow. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Item 3, old business. Item number 1, discussion only, parking lot subcommittee, Brian Goringer.
Brian, you want me to take this one?
Yeah, that'd be great, thank you.
Okay, so ground has been broken. It was really broken last week. So I rolled in and there was half of an excavator underground, and I knew they weren't supposed to be going that deep, but they found a broken water main for the city. It was something that allowed the city to go ahead and fix that, and so that was great. The right thing happened, and so at their cost. And so working with Terry. And Rec Brothers, it's you know, as the designs were presented, it's all moving forward, and we're looking at actually, instead of doing live trees, because he said there would be an issue bringing irrigation to that center strip, that we're looking at artistic representations of trees and doing some uplighting that would actually change colors, and then taking those trees and actually incorporating them in on the convention center grounds. And so what it would be is, you know, we would still have the light post from downtown. We'd have some great rusty metal, you know, art that would kind of combine the two blocks right there. And so it would play in with the art and everything like that. But he's, you know, he's saying this thing will be done by next week. So we are on schedule and on budget, and I'm really liking the way the design's coming out. So we just got to figure out what 5 light posts we want to pillage from the downtown. You know, or Terry Gus says he's got the mold and we could just pour new cement ones, so.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we need them downtown at this point.
Right.
They're not going anywhere for a while.
All right, thank you. Item number 2, discussion only, White Pine Golf Course, Board Member McIntosh.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members. We had a golf course advisory meeting, and wanted to thank Kyle for submitting a grant that'll be through Tourism and Recreation, bringing in more younger players and giving them an experience, not just at the golf course, but making a package, and that's why Tour and Rec is involved. And then the tractor has been ordered, a new tractor, which we gave them money towards it. It was, it came out, I think, about $34,000, and we did 20, so they had to come up. And I like those types of grants that everybody has skin in the game, so, but everything's going well there, and you know, they're looking at a plan for other equipment that they need, and we certainly appreciate what was done through the county commission to help increase on a monthly basis that amount and the 1% increase in the county.
I have a potentially ignorant question,
Sure.
because I just don't know.
Mhm.
Does the course use anything like reclaimed water for their watering, and have we looked into it? Is it possible?
You know, I don't know, but that's a good thing, and I'll ask.
I thought
Because
they did
That
have a grant.
really was a big deal at some of the courses, well, all of the courses in the Carson City area, and it really saved a lot of money and just,
Sure.
it's a great thing for everybody, so.
And I'm
They're on
learning-
city water.
Yeah, and I'm
They're on
learning
city water.
a lot about it, that the city and the county own this. They both have a part of it, so.
With water being limited, that wouldn't be a bad way
Most
to go.
precious resource, so yes, thank you, that's a
I
good
thought there
thing.
was, I know, because I golf out there all the time, I thought there was some kind of an arrangement with the water.
You're not paying for it right now.
Huh?
You're not paying for it right now.
Yeah. So,
But they put something out there and there was some kind of a reciprocal going on.
You mean, but he's talking about reclaimed, it's that.
Right, I know what that is
Yeah.
because I live at the
But right now, the
legacy,
golf course
and we
doesn't
use
pay for
that.
city water, right? They're using it, but they're not, yeah.
I know what
But
you're
it's,
talking
you know,
about.
city owns it also, so
Yeah.
it's a
okay,
joint ownership, but I will ask on that, that's great.
It's a good idea.
You got the water plant right there above the course, you could
I'm
like
just
gravity
saying,
feed it in there.
I thought there was something, but anyway. Item 3, discussion only, White Pine Trails update, Board Chairman Goringer.
I don't have too much to add, just that Kyle put in that grant for IMBA, and we're waiting to hear about this next round of supplemental funding.
Okay.
time for building. If anybody wants to go out and move dirt with me, I'm up there.
Yeah, drivers want it for, building trails.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's it. Okay, item 4, discussion only. Nevada Northern Railroad update, Mark Bassett.
Good afternoon, everyone. And we actually had a fan tour come through last Wednesday, and with Travel Nevada, and they came. Their schedule changed where they were coming in late, and this was tour operators from China, and so it was like, what could we do for them? And we actually put together a Star Train for them at the last minute. We used the pad that we received from Tour and Rec. We also used the Tour and Rec telescope, and it went very, very well. And Mother Nature somewhat cooperated. So,
Cooperated more than the bus did the next day on the way to Great Basin.
oh, you're kidding?
They never made it.
Oh, no.
They did. They were stuck out on Sacramento Pass for a couple hours. They got somebody that came out and went to fix it, and the bus would go like a mile and break down again,
Oh my god.
and then a mile and break down.
Oh.
So they turned around. They came back to Ely. They spent another night in Ely. We had dinner at the jailhouse, and then they went off to Elko the next day.
Oh.
So
What do they do about the bus?
got a different bus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I didn't realize that. Well, we got them up the hill and back again.
Them on the train. That's all that counts.
The other big news, is work is continuing on locomotive, 81. Axles 3 and 4 have been installed, and the tubes should be here, the first week of November, and we'll be installing them, so we're making great progress there. We took a slight hit on ridership in September, partially because Labor Day weekend was split between August and September. Year-to-date, our ridership is 10,740. We're up 442 passengers, a 4% increase over last year. And we're tracking about the same as last year. It was a record year. We broke 300,000 passengers at the end of August. Yeah, very pleased by that. So, we got some great media placement too. City Lab did a great story on us on this is what the transportation revolution looks like. And trains.com, Nevada Northern to host the trains farewell to number 40 event. 40 goes out of service in 2020. So, and then Red Tricycle, which is a Bay Area family publication. 23 holiday train rides to book before they sell out, and so we were featured there too. The haunted ghost trains, normally we did 5 haunted ghost trains, one every Saturday in October, and then the Friday before the last one. And it takes about 60 volunteers to do a haunted ghost train. And yeah, it's a small army out there. And so the volunteers asked if we could combine them, so we did Friday, Saturday, the last 2 Friday, Saturdays in October. And one of the things that we found is that the vast majority of the passengers on the haunted ghost train are from out of town. And so we're taking a hit on the Friday trains, but we're balancing that against what the volunteers have asked for. We're looking ahead, we're working on the 2020 schedule. We're gonna hold to the 4 haunted ghost trains, but we're going to do a pumpkin patch train. Probably the last Saturday of September, and then the first 2 Saturdays in October, and we're going to do something up at Keystone. And the other thing that we have going on too, we all got ghost stories down at the railroad, so we're doing haunted ghost tours down at the engine house, and we've got the little spook detectors, and I was in one of the cars, put it on the seat, went to go pick it up, and the darn thing went off, so. Yeah, I went one way, and the detector stayed there, so, but it's pretty well attended, and we're having a lot of fun with that. Our next big thing is Santa's reindeer flyer. We are again replacing the Polar Express with the reindeer flyer, and ticket sales are going pretty well, so I'm pretty happy, but any boosts you can do on that would be
Absolutely.
marvelous.
Absolutely.
So that's all I have, unless someone has a question or so.
Would you send me the links to those 3 articles that?
Yes,
the red
I-
tricycle and the.
Yes, I'd be happy
Cool,
to.
'cause I'm
Yeah,
not sure it
it's,
is.
I meant to do it in the digital file, and for some reason the links didn't transfer, so, yeah, I can send that to you.
Thank
All
you.
right, cool.
Great, thank you.
Okay, item 5, discussion only, White Pine Public Museum update.
It's just on there for me,
Okay, all right. Item 6, discussion only, board member reports.
I don't have anything to report, thank you.
I did want to mention, I have had some really great conversations with,
Public comment. Public comment will be limited to no more than 3 minutes per person. Anyone, George, would you like to come forward?
Thank you. Madam Chairman, I watch a lot of the promotions coming out of Utah, Channel 4 in particular, that do the trails and the bicycles, that kind of thing. And Utah, the national parks in the southern end are inundated with visitors, too many visitors. There's lines going to, there's lines coming from, and they have a heck of a problem with parking. Maybe we can incorporate some of the promotions that we do for, at least for Great Basin, if not other areas, basically stating there are no lines here with ample parking. Let's see here. I brought this up once before and I haven't seen any movement on it, but I have a concern. New informational signs were installed throughout the community in different areas of the city. Unfortunately, the lettering is too small. Cannot be read when one goes by at 25 miles an hour, let alone 15. Nor do they give approximate distance. 2 feet, 1 block, 1 mile, only an arrow. Let's put some comedy on there. Put a hand with a finger, with a string underneath and a little note. Pull my finger.
We could
In
actually,
small
an
letters.
interactive mural, that's an interactive mural right there.
That's fine, that's fine. Next to the arrows, put a distance. I mean, if it's small, but, you know, if we're gonna spend our money, let's get some value out of it. You got a sign that says golf course. People are trickling down the road expecting to see it any moment, and they're not going to. That's wrong.
That's a good point.
It's wrong. Money needs to be spent one time and spent properly. Let's see here. I think that's it. Those are the 2 items I wanted to bring up.
I like
Other
your
than
idea about
that,
Great
I need some
Basin.
information.
I like the idea about Great Basin.
Very
It's a good
good.
spin.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, George. All right, item 5, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned.
Do you guys have 5 minutes for a open meeting law update?
Yes.
Please.
Or did I do this already?
I don't think so.
No,
Okay.
you didn't.
So I'd just like to clear the
You're
room
right.
if I could. This is, yeah, you don't need to record it. And actually I can, in the open meeting law update, I can.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chat just reporting. The preceding program is sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by KGTV